Top 10 Historical Movies of 2021. Historical films can be some of the most exciting big-screen fare, with plotlines plucked from the pages of history and reimagined for the big screen. There's something about the genre that seems to attract some of Hollywood's biggest names, and practically every picture on this list features a star-studded cast alongside equally acclaimed directors and writers. The best historical films cover a wide range of genres: romance, drama, action, and so on, as well as eras and styles, with romanticized views of the past coexisting with more modern tales of political scandal, drama, and intrigue. Before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you can be updated by my new videos. It's worth noting that not every film with a "based on a true story" tagline is based on a genuine story. Many, including several on this list, take some pretty substantial artistic licenses, filling in elements that may or may not be factual. But that doesn't make them any less entertaining. Some of the most entertaining films on this list are those that make the most of their artistic freedoms. Number 10, 12 Years a Slave. The tragic recounting of Solomon Northup's 1853 novel, 12 Years a Slave, is a memoir and reflection on the years he spent in the South after being kidnapped and sold into slavery. The picture, directed by Steve McQueen, stars Chiwetel Ejiofor, Lupita Nyong'o, Brad Pitt, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Sarah Paulson, among others. It's a star-studded cast, and the performances keep the movie from being cheesy or excessively dramatic. While Pitt, Paulson, and Cumberbatch all deliver strong supporting performances, it is Nyong'o and Ejiofor who carry the film with their subtle portrayals of truth and emotional honesty. As Northup, Chiwetel Ejiofor provides a very engrossing performance. There are some passages that are so intriguing that it's difficult to stay watching. Number 9, Lincoln. It's 3 hours long, but if you have the time, it's well worth it to witness Daniel Day-Lewis in one of his most important performances. Tony Kushner wrote the screenplay, which may be known to some because he wrote the Tony Award-winning Angels in America trilogy, and Steven Spielberg directed it. After years of research and a previous script that covered 4 months of Lincoln's administration, Kushner condensed his story into a 2-month period. The end result is long, but it's well crafted, turning over numerous stones from Lincoln's career and laboriously inspecting them before reinstalling them. The film includes some details from Lincoln's personal life, such as his disagreements with his son, whom he refuses to allow to join the war, his concern for his wife, and his grief over the death of another son. But it's more of a political story than a personal one, and it chooses to avoid the schmaltz in favor of the gravitas of the position. Number 8, The King's Speech. This is the film for you if you binge-watched all 4 seasons of Netflix's The Crown. It's only 2 hours long, so it's not quite as binge-worthy, but we swear it's just as interesting. The King's Speech is a detailed examination of King George VI's Firth relationship with his speech therapist, Lionel Jeffrey Rush. Firth earned an Oscar for Best Actor for the film, and it's easy to see why. He is outstanding as the young monarch, coping with the weight of responsibility and public opinion in the aftermath of his brother's abdication. Rush comes close to matching him, rising to the situation and portraying George's, or Bertie's, as he's called among his friends, therapist with empathy, sincerity, and charm. The two have a pleasant connection, and their trust in one another helps to carry the film. Number 7, Dunkirk. Dunkirk is the film for you if you're looking for more brunette British lads than a One Direction concert. The film, written and directed by Christopher Nolan, depicts a seaside battle and evacuation during World War II in a breathtakingly violent manner. The movie's content may be familiar to longtime history fans, but for those unfamiliar with the Dunkirk evacuation, it provides a thorough, historically accurate account of the day's chaos and success. With a running time of little under 2 hours, it maintains a steady tempo that is both continuous and mildly unpleasant. Like a finger pressed against a bruise, Nolan doesn't let up the pressure from start to finish. To provide the most full understanding of the conflict, the film incorporates footage from 3 separate perspectives: land, air, and water. With minimal conversation and a focus on music and cinematography, it embraces the tension of mood. It's one of the most expensive war films ever made, with over 6,000 extras and a budget of over $600 million. Number 6, Little Women. Even if its events are purely fictional, the content itself is so firmly rooted in historical context, not to mention corsets, that it felt appropriate to sneak it onto this list. Greta Gerwig's compelling period piece Little Women was a highlight of the 2019 film season, and even if its events are purely fictional, the content itself is so firmly rooted in historical context, not to mention corsets, that it felt appropriate to sneak it onto this list. Their father, a charming Bob Odenkirk, is serving as a priest in the Civil War, leaving the five of them to contend with poverty, strife, and everyday problems. Despite their numerous difficulties, the four sisters find satisfaction in their connections with one another, devising creative ways to keep themselves happy and occupied. Each of them tackles new problems as they mature into adults, Jo as a writer, Meg as an actress and subsequently a housewife, and Amy as an artist. Number 5, The Favorite. If you've watched a Yorgos Lanthimos film previously, you'll probably have a good idea of what to expect from The Favorite. If you haven't already, brace yourself. TM is a tensely passionate satirical recreation of Queen Anne's reign, starring Olivia Colman. The plot of Lanthimos' film is based on a historical footnote, the time in 1711 when Queen Anne appointed Abigail Hill, Emma Stone, a former chambermaid, to replace Sarah Churchill, a duchess and one of her closest aides, as keeper of the privy purse. Lanthimos reimagines the three's relationship as a tangled love triangle, in which Sarah and Abigail compete for the Queen's affections. It's a dark comedy, and its sense of humor may be darker than certain audience members are used to, but it's brilliantly biting. Colman's performance is outstanding, and she is fully deserving of the Academy Award for which she was nominated. Number 4, Hidden Figures. The genius man solves science and discovers vaccine/theory/invention formula has been used many times in Hollywood, generally with a beautiful but contemplative British dude as the leading male, whose intelligence frequently leaves him incapable of treating women with empathy or respect. I'm happy to report that Hidden Figures is a refreshing change of pace from that formula. Rather than focusing on one genius, Hidden Figures concentrates on three of them, Katherine Johnson, Mary Jackson, and Dorothy Vaughan, all of whom were black female rocket scientists working for NASA in the 1960s. They're, nearly completely, white male co-workers, who are dubious of their abilities, undercut and underappreciate the trio. Despite the overt bigotry they face and the institutional impediments they face, they persevere, and their colleagues gradually realize their brilliance over the course of the film. Number 3, Argo. Argo, directed by Ben Affleck, is a Hollywood thriller with a plot that seems too unbelievable to be true. Despite this, it is somehow, amazingly, true. Affleck's film is based on the real-life Iranian hostage crisis of the 1970s, and it depicts the narrative of 6 embassy staff members who are left trapped in Iran after their co-workers are all kidnapped by the Iranian government. They seek refuge at a Canadian embassy, but find themselves stranded while the US government works out a strategy for their safety. After seeing Battle for the Planet of the Apes, CIA operative Tony Mendez, Ben Affleck, decides to launch a rescue mission in Iran, disguised as a Canadian film crew filming the fictitious movie, Argo. He enlists the help of ex-CIA makeup artist John Chambers, John Goodman, and Hollywood producer Lester Siegel, Alan Arkin, to set up a phony production company with the goal of going to Iran and rescuing the hostages as cast members for their film. From there, the tale thickens with unlikely shenanigan after unlikely shenanigan, culminating in a darkly funny new historical film masterpiece. Number 2, Selma. Selma is a retelling of the 1965 Selma to Montgomery voting rights marches, directed by the visionary Ava DuVernay. Martin Luther King is played by David Oyelowo, with Oprah Winfrey, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Tessa Thompson providing supporting roles. The film is a powerful depiction of a pivotal historical period, and DuVernay refuses to let it devolve into caricature or be diluted by the passage of time. While credited as the writer, director DuVernay rewrote an estimated 90% of the script. She also had to rewrite all of Martin Luther King's speeches because they were under copyright for an upcoming Steven Spielberg film project. This may appear to be a setback at first, but it turns out to be a blessing, as it allows DuVernay to recapture the energy of Dr. King without allowing her audience to fall back into any kind of preconceived comfort. Number 1, Spotlight. Spotlight, one of the more recent historical films on this list, chronicles the story of the Boston pedophilia scandal. The film follows the Spotlight team of the Boston Globe, a unique group of investigative journalists who expose scandal, corruption, and power abuse. The plot of the film is based on true events from 2003, when the Spotlight team exposed the Roman Catholic Church for covering up child sexual abuse by a slew of priests and clergy. It's not always easy to watch, but it's always interesting, as the team attempts to unearth the truth about the incident while refusing to sacrifice their journalistic beliefs. Spotlight has a fantastic cast, with Rachel McAdams, Brain Darcy James, and Stanley Tucci all giving outstanding performances. Despite the great cast, Mark Ruffalo stands out as one of the film's most intriguing characters, receiving accolades for his ability to represent the inner conflict between his work as a journalist and his role as a father and community member. I hope you find this video helpful. If you liked the video, do like and subscribe as it really helps our channel, and do remember to give your feedback in the comments below. See you in the next video with some more interesting topics and facts.